What's up, it's your boy Donovan and welcome on into my paint with me. Today we're going to be doing some practice with gouache paint. I've had this Himi gouache set for about a year, maybe even going on 2 years now, and I still haven't really gotten into it. And recently I had an epiphany.
I just had an epiphany, I need to go to Tiffany.
I was looking at my still life that I have set up in my den, and I decided that I want to try to do maybe a couple small still life paintings with the Himi gouache set. In order to prepare for that, I followed a tutorial by Myriam Tillson here on YouTube, in which they break down several exercises specifically around mixing, layering, and blending with gouache paint. There are also several helpful tips and tricks if you are a beginner, and I very much am. So if you're interested in watching me practice just a little bit of gouache painting, no major like illustrations or pieces or anything. I'm just putting colors down on paper, okay baby? That's it. We keeping it real simple. We just having a little fun. We meditating a little bit with this, you know what I'm saying? If you're interested in watching that, stay tuned because it's right here for you.
I don't know if y'all saw in the beginning, but this Himi gouache set has sat for so long that it is musty, crusty, dusty, and dry when I first open it. So before I could do anything, I had to revive these bad boys. And how I did that was just adding water to each cup and then stirring it around and letting it soak until it went back to its jelly consistency. The next step in the preparation was laying down my washi tape and setting up my grid for the exercises that I wanted to do on my first page. I started off just swatching out my colors for the set so that I could see how each one looked on paper, because I haven't done that in a while. First up of all of the exercises created by Myriam Tillson is the first mixing exercise. In this exercise, it's all about playing with opacity and mixing with water. I'm essentially setting up a grid from the most opaque to least opaque by changing the ratio of gouache to water mix. This really taught me how much water I need to add to the gouache paint in order to get just the right consistency. What I noticed was that there is a point where it's just way too thick to really do anything with, so you would likely only use a very thick consistency for small details on the highest, most layer. Now moving on to mixing exercise number 2, and I'm painting on this black strip of paper because this exercise is all about how adding white to your pigment can change your opacity as well. I was actually shocked when I did this to see that the purple shade that had no white mixed into it at all showed up pretty well on this black paper when it dried completely. But I guess that's just like the beauty of gouache. I'm starting to realize why people love it so much. It's incredibly vivid and extremely versatile. For the layering exercises, I painted 2 rows of red boxes. In the first row, I basically did the same thing that I did for the first mixing exercise, in which I painted the first box the most opaque, and I gradually added more and more water to each box until the last one became like a watercolor, almost translucent wash of red color. In the second row of red boxes, I painted all of them the most opaque shade of red. I chose the opposing color, which happens to be green, in the spirit of the season, just to see how much of the red would show through if I painted through, and also to see how much of the red pigment would become lifted once I went back over it with a wet paint again. In the second row, I'm doing the same thing, just trying to see how much of the red paint would lift with a very thick layer of green on top of it. Now moving on to the final exercises with blending, and I did 2 of those. I chose 2 opposing colors, and then laid them down on opposite ends of the box, just overlaying the colors and going back and forth between the blue and the pink and laying them on top of each other until I get somewhat of a blend. I think my issue there was that I did not allow enough of it to dry. Like I should have done a layer and let it dry, or I should have painted half blue and half pink and let it dry and then gone back over with some blending. Overall, this was a successful painting session. I feel accomplished, I feel more confident, and I'm ready to use gouache for something real next time.
And that was it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. This is the best way to keep up with me, is right here on YouTube. Anyways, I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.